Hi, I'm Sergeant First Class Rankin. I'm a 79 Romeo Senior Leader Course instructor at the Recruiting and Retention College. I'm going to be giving you a block of instruction on conversion data. So first of all, the things that you're going to need to have access to during this block of instruction are you're going to have the UTC 5-03.1, access to the assignment in Blackboard, have a calculator and scrap paper and something to write with. First thing we need to do is find out what conversion data actually is. UTC 5-03.1 defines conversion data in 10.8. It says the map begins with conversion data. Conversion data is the average number of appointments made to interviews conducted, applicants tested to number passed, and the number of applicants physically examined to those passed to achieve a single enlistment. Essentially, what we need to do is find out how much it takes to yield one enlistment. So that's what we're doing when we're trying to find conversion data. We have an example provided for us. It's using appointment makes, showing us the formula for conversion data. So it's saying appointment makes divided by our contracts equals our number of appointment makes that will required to our ratio. So when it comes to our conversion data, we need to find out where it is on the map that we'll actually be getting our data from. So when we're looking for conversion data, we want to use our historical maps for a reference. So ideally, we want to use 12 months of conversion data, or 12 months of data to find our conversion. So what we want to do is gather up 12 months of our maps. And over here on this section of our map is actually going to give us our achievements that we have had for the map that covers that phase line. So I've blown it up over here to show you the different categories. So up here, it's broken down by grad, senior, and others. We are going to specifically be giving you examples on grads today. So we have a top line and a bottom line in each section. So this top line is our grad appointment make. Over here is our senior appointment make and our other. So appointment make, we're going to skip this. Appointment conduct, skip that. We're going to have our test, skip that. Test pass, floor, and our contract. All of this, we're just looking right here at our grads. So what I just pointed to was the top line in each section, which is our requirements. So that was telling us how much for that particular phase line we were required to get to make our phase line mission. What we need to look at is the bottom line, which is our achievements, what we actually achieved that phase line. So what we're going to be doing is adding up our appointment makes for our grads, our achieved appointment makes, our achieved appointment conducts, our achieved test, our achieved test pass, our achieved floor, and the actual number of contracts we had that phase line. So in our example that was provided to you in Blackboard, it actually breaks down that section of the map here for you. However, it doesn't have the requirements for that phase line. It only shows you the achievements, which makes it a little bit easier. So we're not going to be using 12 months of historical data. What we're going to be doing is using 90 days of historical data, or three phase line maps. So we're going to be using phase line May, phase line June, and phase line July to gather up our 90 days worth of data. So what we need to do is on your example, it actually gave you the 90-day totals, but what we're going to do right quick is go over how we got those totals. So your section, your homework assignment came with this section right here. How we got those numbers is we took our grad achievements for our appointment makes, which was 55. We added it to our June grad appointment makes that we achieved, and then we added it to the July grad appointment makes, 49. So 55, 58 plus 49 gave us 162. So in our station, if this was our map, this would be telling us that in the last 90 days, we made 162 grad appointments. So we're going to do that for each category. So next we're going to go down to our appointment conducts. So we're only focusing on the grad right now. So our grad appointment conducts, 41 plus 45 plus 40 is going to give us 126. So next we have our test, 13 plus 14 plus 18 gave us 45. Now next you're going to see that in our test pass, we have two different categories. We have our alpha and our Bravo category breakdown. So we are only going to be focusing on our alpha numbers. So for our test pass for our grads, we're going to add up our 8 plus our 8 plus our 10, giving us 26. Next, we're going to move down to our floor, 5 plus 6 plus 7, giving us 18. And our total number of contracts for our grads are going to be 4 plus 5 plus 5, giving us 14. So only focusing on the alpha categories when you are doing your conversion data. So you can do the same thing for your seniors and get your totals for them as well. So this number will not be provided to you when you're doing your own conversion data, so that's why you need to understand where these numbers came from. It came from our map data over our phase line achievements. We added them up to get our reference, which here we're going to use in 90 days, our 90-day totals. So next what we got to do is we have to find, like I said, we're going to focus on our grad conversion data. So to find our grad conversion data, what we need to do is we're going to start at the top. We're going to start with our appointment makes. So we had in the last 90 days 162 grad appointment makes in our station. Out of those 162 appointment makes, that gave us 14 grad enlistments, grad contracts. So what we're doing is we're taking that 162 and we're going to divide it by 14. That's our number of appointment makes that we achieved divided by the number of contracts achieved. So doing that in your calculator real quick, you will get a number that looks hopefully very similar to this. So 11.5 continuation. So now we have to talk about rounding rules. So when it comes to rounding with your conversion data, you need to focus on the decimal point. We're looking at we always round our number here to the tenths place. So if there's any number after this tenths place, this number is going to round up. So here we have a 7 in our hundredths place, so that's going to make this tenths place round up to 11.6. So when it comes to finding our conversion data for our grad appointment makes, our answer is going to be 11.6 to the ratio of 1. We always do the ratio of 1 when referring to our conversion data because that tells us exactly how many of appointment makes it took to yield that one contract, that one enlistment. So now we know for our station, historically, over the last 90 days, it took us 11.6 appointment makes to yield one grad enlistment. So now that we found our conversion data for our appointment makes, now we can continue on and find it for the remainder of our activities. So next we have our appointment conducts. So what we need to do is we need to take that 126 appointment conducts that our station had over the last 90 days and we're going to divide it by the number of enlistments that we yielded. So 126 divided by 14. Putting in your calculator, simple enough. 126 divided by 14 and equals, and you're simply going to get 9. Since there is nothing past the whole number, there is no decimal points and nothing past the tenths place, your answer is going to simply be 9.0 to 1. Next thing we want to do is we want to find how many testers we had to yield one contract. So of our 45 testers that we had for the last 90 days, in our 14 contracts, we're going to divide 45 divided by 14 in our calculator, and it's going to come up to 3.2 continuation. So with there being a number in that hundredths place, we know that this tenths place is going to have to round up, making this, your answer, 3.3 to the ratio of 1. So in other words, it takes 3.3 testers, grad testers, to yield one grad enlistment. Next, we want to go down to test pass. We're going to take our 26, we're going to be dividing it by our 14. Our calculator going to be 26 divided by 14, giving us 1.8 continuation. Since there is something past the tenths place, we're rounding that tenths to 1.9, making our answer 1.9 to the ratio of 1. Next thing we want to do is see how many grads we had to floor to yield 14, to get our 14 contracts. So we divide our 18 divided by 14, giving us 1.2 continuation, making our rounded, taking that, seeing that there's something in the hundredths place, making it 1.3. I'm going to round this 2 to a 3 due to the fact that there's something in that hundredths place. So our answer is going to be 1.3 to 1. Now when it comes to our contracts, anything divided by itself is going to be 1. So your answer here, 14 divided by 14, 1 to the ratio of 1. Now that we have our conversion data, now we know how much work in these categories that we need to yield one enlistment, we need to know where on our map it is actually going to go. So when it comes to looking at our map, we have right now a blank map, but we just figured out our conversion data. So now what we can do is come down here, and I've enlarged it over here, and place in those numbers that we just got. So for our conversion data, for our grads and our appointment makes, we have 11.6, and they've already put in the ratio to 1 for you. So you have your 11.6, 9.0, 3.3, 1.9, and 1.3. So that is going to give us how much work it takes to yield that one grad enlistment. So alright, so in our scenario, it told us that we had a mission for 5 grads. So now that we know how much it takes to get one enlistment, now we need to know how much work we actually need to do, that phase line, to make our phase line mission. So now that we have this area filled out, we know that we're on for 5. So we can actually fill out this section right here and place our mission number there, which our grad mission was 5. So we have our ratios here, our conversion data here, our mission number here, 5. And how we find that data is we take our ratio, which the first one was 11.6, 11.6 grad appointment makes times our actual mission for this phase line. So the scenario gave us 5, said we were mission for 5. So we took 11.6, we multiplied it by 5, and it was 58. It was a whole number, there was no rounding necessary. So we do it down the line. So next we do appointment conducts. We take our conversion data, 9.0, and we're going to multiply it by 5, gives us 45. So our requirement here, our requirement for the phase line would be 45 grad appointment conducts to meet our phase line mission. Next, what we have to do is our testers. We take our 3.3, multiply it by 5, and we get 16.5. So here we actually are going to have to round. So we always round to the whole numbers on this section of our map. The reason that we have to round to our whole number here is because these are actual requirements. This is what we need to actually appointments we need to make, actual appointments we need to conduct, actual testers. These are people that we're actually sitting down with. So we can't have 0.5 of a person. So we're rounding that up to 17. So to make our grad phase line mission, we know that we need to have about 17 testers for the phase line. Down the line, do it for our test pass. 1.9 times 5 times 5 equals 9.5, which we are going to round that to 10. We're going to place it there on our grad requirements section. And then how many grads will we need to floor to meet our phase line mission, which is going to be 1.3 times 5, giving us 6.5, and we're going to round that to 7. So now that we had our conversion data, we could actually use our mission, multiply it by our mission, and give us our actual phase line requirements for that mission month. So now I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and figure out your senior conversion data. So go ahead and you can take the opportunity now to pause the video and figure out this data. Alright, so now that you've figured out your senior conversion data, we're going to go over it real quick. So first thing you had to do, if this wasn't here, would be to add up your seniors in each category to get your numbers over here, which since it's already provided for us, we can take that 73 appointment makes that we had, and we can divide it by 8. So we did 73 divided by 8, giving us, our calculator told us 9.125. We rounded that to 9.2 to the ratio of 1. Anything past that 10th place allowed us to round this up to the next number. So for our appointment conducts, we're going to take that 5.5 and we're going to divide it by 8. Our calculator says it's 6.875, which we're going to round that to 6.9 to the ratio of 1. Next, we have our test. We had 23 senior tests, giving us 8 contracts. 23 divided by 8 gave us 2.875, rounding that to 2.99 to the ratio of 1. So our test pass, 14. Our 14 divided by 8, calculator told us it's 1.75. We're going to round that up to 1.8 to the ratio of 1. Our floor, so we had 11 divided by 8. 11 divided by 8 gives us 1.375, our answer being 1.4 to the ratio of 1. And again, our contracts, anything divided by itself is going to be 1 to the ratio of 1. So now you can go ahead and see where that conversion data is going to play into your senior requirements for your phase line mission. So you're going to fill in your conversion data here at the bottom. Your scenario gave you a mission of 3 for that month. So you took your senior conversion data, you multiplied it by 3. You got your actual requirements for the month, and you were able to fill in your senior requirements for the month. So this is end of completing our conversion data. I'm Summer First Class Rankin. Thank you.